Hello.
Hi, this must be Denise.
Yes, it is.
Hey, this is Mike calling from Silver Homes. I'm partners with Dave. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. He kind of caught me up to speed on what the deal was over there in Putnam. And I have the fun job of underwriting and doing all the boring financial stuff in our business. So I'm calling to see how we can help you out and how we could work together.
I sent him the updated mortgage statement that I got. And I sent him what they said in December would be a payoff amount. And then I sent him some pictures
Got it. Yeah, I saw those. I guess we can start with what are you hoping to accomplish?
to get out of here.
Got it. So you're living there currently?
Currently, yeah. It's technically in the process of going through foreclosure, but I haven't gotten a notice of, to get out of here or anything yet. And I did call the bank and told them I was trying to work on something to sell this place. And I got to go down to the probate judge tomorrow to see if I can get my sister's name off of the deed. So the deed would be free and clear because she's passed away.
Oh, man.
So I have to do that.
Did that happen recently?
2019. But her son, when he was dealing with the estate, he just didn't think of doing that. So I spoke to him and everything, and he says, I don't want any of it. He says, that's all yours. He says, that was yours and hers. I want nothing to do with it. So I guess he signed the paper for the court, for the probate judge to review. So I have to go down there at 3:00 to a meeting. So.
Got it. So did he sign something that pretty much stated that you would be in charge of the property?
The way my mortgage reads, we had it joint, and technically when she passed, it's supposed to come to me. It's supposed to be all mine, but I have to go through the courts to do that, and I didn't know that. Neither did he know that.
Got it. Oh, so you guys own the property together and got the mortgage in both of you guys' name.
Correct.
Got it.
I was first person, and she was the secondary.
But your name was on the deed as well?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Alrighty. Well, I'll pull up the deed in a second. That'll tell me a couple things. Depending on how the deed is written, will depend on what needs to be done. Sounds like the probate judges are already involved, which means probate has to happen on her side of the transaction. It sounds like that's the case.
Well, it's because there was somebody here before that was interested in the place, and I don't understand how they were doing this here, but I got behind on on the mortgage because I was sick for a while there, and then where I worked, they kind of got slow a little bit, so they gave us some time off and everything, and I wasn't bringing in enough to make the payment. I looked at the bill, it says 11,000 something. I don't have the bill in front of me. That would catch me up on the mortgage. And then what they will do, and I spoke to somebody there, is they'll reevaluate the mortgage, which could make monthly payment lower. And then that payoff statement, I think it said it was $154,000 to pay it completely off.
Well, in an ideal world, would you want to stay in the property?
Yes and no. I don't think so. I'm trying to look for a place that's all on one floor because I'm 66 right now. The bedroom being upstairs, I can't climb the stairs right now.
So in an ideal world, you'd rather just sell the property as is right now and then move into a place that's on a single floor.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Well, in a worst case scenario, let's just say for some weird reason, it's tough finding a place to go.
I do have a place in mind. It's a small mobile home. It's a 2-bedroom mobile home.
That's nice. What happened with you said that there were some other guys that were trying to buy the house?
Oh, yeah. They got all the paperwork. What they said they were going to do is they were going to take over the deed, and they were going to catch me up on the mortgage, catch on the condo fees, and then they were going to take over the payments and everything. And then all of a sudden they come back and said, oh, no, it's going to be too much for us to take care of because of the repairs. And I'm thinking, and I don't know where they came up with $27,000. I don't know where they came up with that, but they backed out. And then I don't want them to foreclose in the house.
Did they give you a date on when they were doing the auction?
No, they didn't do a final thing or anything like that yet. I've gotten nothing like that. I've been in contact with the U.S. Bank. I've been in contact with them, and I told them that I am going to try and sell the place. And they gave me an extension, and I think the extension is gone by now. So I'm getting a little nervous now.
Okay. Well, there's a couple good pieces of news, I guess I could say, is one, they're willing to work with you. And most banks are. Most banks, once they realize that you're selling the property or in the process of doing so, they will work with you. Especially once you get into a purchase and sale agreement with somebody, then they're like, okay, cool, we'll definitely extend whatever auction date there is. More than 90% of the time, that's what they do. And then the other good piece of information is 11,000 might seem a lot, but I've seen much, much worse for what people owe to the bank. Like there's been cases where we've seen people owe $50, $70, $80, $90,000. So it doesn't seem like you're too far behind. With that being said, it sounds like there's some time. But at the end of the day, time is still of the essence, and we still got to get it done as fast as possible. So the guys that were looking to purchase your property, what prevented them from just purchasing the property in cash completely and paying off the mortgage with cash?
I don't know. They didn't give me that information.
Were they thinking about doing that in the beginning, or they automatically just went to the strategy of taking over your payments?
No, they went right to that. And then they came up with like 27,000 they would need, they said, to do everything. And I'm thinking, 27,000, what's 27,000 coming from? Mortgage is only 11,000, a little over 11,000 to get caught up. The condo fees are like 4,000 to get caught up. Like 15,000, and I think they thought it would be more because they'd have to get somebody to clean it out and everything. But I have a guy that can come and clean it out. He only charges $375 a big bin, a 10 by 10 thing.
Alrighty. Well, the reason why I ask is all of us investors are all doing very similar things, and we have very similar business models. Normally, for us buyers that are buying these off-market properties and doing flips and rentals and stuff like that, normally our first goal is to just buy a property in cash, right? That's the easiest way to get something done. It's the cleanest, it's the most simple. And then in a worst case scenario, for whatever reason, and usually the main reason is the property just needs a little bit too much work, and the price that we need to get it done at in order to buy it in cash just doesn't make sense from an investment standpoint. So what we'll do is we'll be like, well, hey, instead of going out and raising the cash from one of our investors, why don't we just use the current loan that's in place? And that way we don't have to come up with $150,000, and we'll just, why go get a loan from somebody else to pay off the loan that they currently have? It'll save us on interest and fees and all that type of stuff.
Right. Would that still be in my name, or would it be transferred to your name?
Correct. It would still be in your name in that situation.
That's what they were going to do.
Here's what we were looking at, because we do both strategies as well. We buy properties in cash, and we also take over people's payments. In the event that cash doesn't work, we were looking at the numbers and looking at the pictures, and I don't think cash is going to work. I think that's maybe why they just automatically went to the second option of taking over the payments, just to alleviate some interest and fees and stuff like that on their end so that they can get the deal done. But along with that, looking at the pictures, it does look like if they said $27,000, even though you might not think that, I'm just going to be honest with you, I think that they're pretty spot on with that, given the fact that it looks like we'd probably have to renovate the kitchen and bath and do all cosmetic work and all that stuff. It's just what buyers and tenants want nowadays. They're spoiled. They want the best of the best, right? And it costs money in order to do that. So I kind of agree with them on what it would cost to fully turn the property over. Now, don't let that scare you, but with that being said, I feel like that might be the reason why they ended up backing out. And here's what it sounds to me that they probably did. They probably went to go do that strategy and then reached out to a bunch of investors, kind of like myself, to see if they could partner on the deal with them and get it done together. And they probably reached out to all the investors, and the investors were like, no, this is too much work. Because here's what the investors are looking at. They're looking at two things. Well, how much is it going to cost me to get into the deal? Meaning, how much am I going to have to pay for repairs? How much am I going to have to pay the seller up front so that she can move and get into her new place? How much am I going to have to pay for closing costs and all that type of stuff? And how much is the person giving me the deal? How much is their fee? They're looking at all these things, right? And with the repairs being so big, doesn't make sense to come up with all that cash. Let's just say in this example, if the repairs were $27,000, along with the $11,000 that's due to the bank and all these other things that are involved, they're going to have to come up with like $60,000 to $70,000 in perspective when you look at the entire deal after like maybe 6 months is up. That's all the money that was put into the deal to get everything, up and ready to go for what they're trying to do in order for them to make money.
What I'm thinking is in that 27,000, they included the mortgage to get caught up. They included the condo fees to get caught up. And the vanity would have to be replaced. I never replaced that vanity that you see in there since I moved in. So that was broken like that there when I moved in here.
Okay, so it's probably not as worse as we might be thinking, which is a good thing. With that being said, here's what I think happened with the other guys, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like they probably went under contract with you with thought in mind of taking over the payments, which is not a bad strategy. I think it's one of the only ways to get this deal done, given the fact that the bank needs 158 grand to pay them off, whatever it is. So I think getting creative might be the only way to accomplish getting you some money in your pocket, getting over to the next space where you're going to live in, and then clearing up all the $11,000 of debt and, moving on. I think the creative deal might be the only way to get this done. With that being said, what I assume probably happened is they went under contract and they were trying to find another investor to partner with, and they might just not have had all the resources, or maybe there's something that they saw that I'm just not seeing at this point, and we'll see that once we get to the property. But I'm thinking that they just might not have had the resources in order to get it done, because it sounds like they should have been able to figure something out and at least get some sort of investor onto the deal and move forward with it. So here's my thoughts. I'm thinking we send our team out there at some point. I have my guy Ari, who could probably meet you out there sometime. Today's Tuesday, probably sometime this week. I'll get back to you on a time frame with that. But we'll get out there. If we think that it makes sense for us to bring this to our investors for the exact strategy that they were going to use. This is a strategy that we use all the time, especially with helping sellers that might be facing foreclosure. So if we think that we can do that after walking the property, I'll have David send you over an agreement that just says that we're going to do exactly what they were going to do, but we're just going to actually perform on it and get it done. And we'll go from there. With that being said, how much money did you need in order to get to the next spot?
That I'm not sure, because I got to call them and see what they're going to do about my dog. Because the lady that owns it was willing to rent to own type of deal. So I don't know, because we spoke about it and everything, and she agreed it with me, and then she went and put it up for sale. And I noticed she's dropped the price down on it now, and it's still for sale. Nobody's buying it.
Well, that gives you a good opportunity.
Right. So I'm not 100% sure. Because I know she wanted $3,000 down. She wants $52,000 for the place.
Got it. And you'd be paying her off over time?
Yeah, she said I could pay, this was the initial one, give her $3,000 down and then give her $700 a month plus the association fee, which is $500 over there. So I would be giving her $1,100 a month.
That's not bad.
No.
Okay. So really it would be $3,000 that you would need up front in that scenario, plus a couple bucks on top of that for moving and everything?
Right.
All right. Well, I have the mortgage statement. I have the payoff. I got all those numbers. Let me reach out to Ari and see when we can get over there. When's your availability?
Actually, this week here wouldn't be good. I do have a gentleman coming, the gentleman I spoke to. He's going to come Wednesday next week and do the first clean out.
He's moving forward.
Well, I asked him to do it because I don't like the pictures that I'm sending. So, because it doesn't really show very well.
Got it. Oh, this is a gentleman that was cleaning your property, not buying your property.
Correct. He's the one that I got to do a house clean out.
Okay, and you plan on doing that for Wednesday?
Well, he said he's got it set up for Wednesday at 10. He's going to be back on Tuesday. He's just on a small vacation right now.
That would be ideal on our end, because once we go under agreement, we're going to have our investors come by and we'll do like an investor walkthrough with them. Property's all cleaned up and stuff. That's going to give us a much better shot of getting the deal done for sure.
Right.
The other buyers that were buying the property or trying to buy the property, how much were they giving you in your pocket at close?
At that time, I had asked for $10,000.
Well, I was thinking of $7,000. What do you think about $7,000? Would that get it done?
That's fine too.
Okay, cool. So here's what I think we do. We can do $7,000 as long as everything goes well with our investor walkthrough. For us to get on top of this, why don't I have David send you over an agreement that just says that you're going to get $7,000, and then once the clean out is done, we'll have our investor walkthrough come over. Once that investor walkthrough is done, within 24 to 48 hours, we will know whether or not we are 100% moving forward or not. But that would give us enough time to get our investors' eyeballs on the deal and their ducks in a row and stuff like that. We can get this thing done. And then we can close this thing out and call it. Well, actually, let me ask you, when do you want to close?
As soon as I find a place.
So let's do a 60-day close, and then we can close sooner if you want. So we'll just put it in the agreement that we can close sooner in the event you want to close sooner and find a place, or in the event you don't find a place in 60 days, we can extend.
Okay.
So I'll have Dave put that in the agreement as well. Any questions for me as far as like the structure of the deal and taking over the payments and stuff like that? Are there any questions that those other guys didn't answer?
No.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to give David your email. He's going to give you a call here in probably like 30 minutes. You guys can walk through it, and then we'll get our guys over there once the clean out's done. Call it maybe at the end of next week or the week after that.
I'd say the week after. I'll tell you what. Let me call you Wednesday after he's done.
Okay, that works. Yeah, we'll play it by ear. I'll give you a shout at some point early next week, and we'll just stay in touch. And then in the meantime, I'll have Dave give you a call in the next 30 minutes, and you guys can lock this thing in, and we'll move forward, and we'll help you out.
All right, thank you.
All righty, Denise, any questions?
No.
All righty. Yeah, this is my personal number too, so feel free to save it and reach out whenever.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Denise, appreciate it.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, if you got to this point of the video, you deserve some insider information. So before I hopped on this call, Dave on my team called the seller, and the seller was like, listen, Dave, there's absolutely no way I'm signing any contract unless somebody physically comes to the house. And then Dave told me that. And one of my number one rules in sales is always start the sales process off fresh if this is your first time talking to the seller. So that means if you have notes from a virtual assistant, or if somebody referred you over to a lead and they told you the entire background story, disregard it and just start the conversation off fresh and start the sales process over. Don't put all these things in your brain and just start assuming things, because what happens is those smoke screens become a reality for you. Because a lot of the times they're just smoke screens, and you got to get through them and you got to work through them in the sales process. And I almost went against my rule on this call. If you guys noticed, there was about maybe halfway through the call, I was like, hey, I'm going to send out one of my guys to come over there and check out the property. And ultimately, I was going to just have him bring the contract and get it signed then and there, which is cool. Probably would have happened. But here's the deal. It's not that efficient. What we need to be doing as wholesalers is we need to be having as many conversations on the phone as possible and locking up as many contracts over the phone as possible. So we're not wasting our time spending 3 hours every day going on appointments for contracts that might not even get done. So you can get deals done over the phone. You can get the seller to literally sign a contract. Here's what happened on this call. I remembered my rule. I'm like, wait, no, let me not assume that she will never sign a contract. Let me keep on going through the sales process. So maybe 3/4 of the way through the call, I was like, hey, so what did these other guys say that they were going to give you? She said 10,000. I'm like, well, I'm seeing here I could probably give you 7. She's like, all right, cool, we have a deal. Once I realized that, I was like, oh, this lady's closable now. We can get a signed contract today. Ultimately, what happened with this deal is 30 minutes later, I end up hopping on the phone with her because Dave was busy at the time, and she signed a contract over the phone without us seeing the property. Now we have our inspection period in there. We're fully transparent with the seller. She knows exactly what's going on. We didn't have to go to the property and spend time going there and spend driving time back and forth, spending 3 hours. No, we just got the contract signed, and we'll do our investor walkthrough, and that will be our due diligence period, and she knows exactly what's going on. So it's a win-win for everybody. Ultimately, there's so many tactical things that happened on this call that led to the seller being comfortable with just signing without somebody having to come to the property. So if you're having people say, hey, I need you to come to the property, or an agent saying, hey, just set up a walkthrough, or the seller just saying, just come to the property, just come to the property, just come to the property. I'm not signing anything unless you come. It's most likely a smokescreen, and you need some tactical things that you need to implement on your calls that will allow you to get the contract signed via the phone without having to go to the property. For this call, what I want to do is I want to break that down. So if you have any questions, let me know. Actually, matter of fact, let's do this. Go to wholesalewithmike.com. I do a monthly call once a month, just breaking down anything you guys want to break down. If you guys have a seller call that you guys want to go over, or you want me to hop on the phone with one of your sellers, or you just have some questions on real estate or just life in general, whatever it is, we go over that on that call once a month. Go to wholesalewithmike.com and you'll get the notification for when those Zooms are. And if you are in the New England area, we're starting something in February called Club Closer, where in our office in Canton, Mass, we're going to be doing live calls. I have thousands of leads in our CRM that we've generated over the past 5 years, and they need to be called. So what we're going to do is you guys are going to call them, I'm going to call them, and we're just going to do business together. If you guys lock up any deals or set up any appointments, I might even go on the appointments with you. We're going to split the deal, and everybody's going to get paid, and this is 100% free. So go to wholesalewithmike.com and you'll get the notification for when those are too. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.